Paul Runge from Africa Project Access. I assist about 170 companies with early alerts of projects throughout sub-Saharan Africa, greenfields and brownfields projects.
Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk, and Paul has just completed the third executive presentation we've had today at Breakbulk Americas in Houston. And tell us a little bit more about what your role is, Paul.
Right. What I do is I basically go into the markets. I've been in this business for over 30 years, and I assist companies with identifying the projects that I was talking about. Obviously I cover all sectors, but for this particular purpose, a major issue is logistics, because in Africa we are suffering a lot from stranded logistics. We have what the world wants in the form of copper, oil and gas, coal, etc. But we don't know how to move it and get it to coast. So therefore the whole rail port scenario is extremely important, especially right now.
Can you just give us a few more high points from your presentation today?
I was just going through where the actual hotspots are, where we're seeing exponential growth. For example, in Pemba in northern Mozambique is a major area, also in southern Tanzania. So I was showing them where are these hotspots. They are not always based on gas or oil. There's sometimes it's copper, like for example in the new copper belt in Zambia, or it could be the oil in Lake Albert in Uganda. It could be the coal in Tete in the Zambezi Valley. It could be the iron ore in Guinea-Conakry. I was just showing them where are these hotspots, and then stressing to them the logistical challenges we have in basically extracting the resources and getting them to port and being able to export them.
Excellent. I think one sometimes misperception that people have, excuse me, is that Africa is a homogeneous place of development, you know, for new projects. But you have a different perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are different modus operandi. There are different impetus in different parts of the continent. For example, at the moment we're very, very preoccupied with the east coast of Africa because of the big gas finds. But there's also a swathe of iron ore projects in the west. Of course, there are things I didn't go into too much, I didn't have the time, but to talk about the very big differences between the ways of operating in Francophone Africa as compared to Anglophone Africa and Lusophone Africa. So we're very involved with that kind of thing, and two markets are never the same. Ethiopia, for example, is a really up-and-coming market at the moment. It's 90 million people, and it's, as I was explaining to them, that it's a major source of power and could be exporting power to much of Africa, because power is a major issue throughout our continent.
What is the most important thing, or the most important advice that you can give our Breakbulk attendees who are looking at moving into doing business somewhere in Africa?
What I was advising very much is there's a big difference between information and intelligence. You need to know what's really going on the ground. So if you're to look at these markets, you have to take into consideration the idiosyncrasies of those specific markets, and you have to understand what's really going on there and so on. I also made a very strong plea saying that you have to be sensitive that when you go into these markets, you're affecting people. So your corporate social investment programs, the lack of skills in Africa are very serious issues that must be addressed. So unlike going into other areas, you've got to be ready to spend a little bit more than what you would normally in order to function properly, in order to establish training centers, to make sure that people are housed properly, not only your expats, but also your workers and their families. So you're not dealing in a vacuum. So your CSI program, corporate social investment programs, are extremely important. And there's a whole industry in that sector alone, because basically the bottom line is Africa has what the world wants, but we do not have the support infrastructure. This is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. So I've never seen, and I also said I've never seen a project flow in all my years as we're seeing today in sub-Saharan Africa. Not only from a point of view of quantity, but a point of view of quality as well. It's really should get much more attention from Americans and from Asians and Europeans.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. We're so happy that you were here today.
Thank you.
Thanks.